Game of the game week is Monday Night Football, Fulham against Brentford, 8 p.m. kickoff at Craven Cottage. Fulham currently sit in 10th with a mid-table record of 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, but they are winners in the last 3, so they were most recently held to a draw by Everton at Goodison Park, but they've had no EFL Cup midweek game, so would be well rested for this one. Brentford, however, were in action on Tuesday night as they secured progression in the Cup by virtue of a penalty shootout against Sheffield Wednesday. They actually went with a relatively strong 11. Brian Mbeumo started leading the line, but goals have been a real target for the Bees so far. In the last 4, there's been scorelines of 4-3, 2-1, 5-3 and 3-1 in the Premier League. So they've been one of the more enterprising, attack-minded teams in the league so far, and I would hope that sort of persists, that trend. Onto the injury report, Sasha Lukic remains out for Fulham with a shoulder injury. Joachim Andersen is suspended, and Andreas Pereira is 50-50 after picking up a knock in his last game. So we can sort of expect some changes for Fulham. They won't be able to field their strongest 11, and again, more on that in a little bit. For Brentford, Rico Henry and Aaron Hickey remain out, which means Sepp van den Berg could be sort of in line to start at left back again if Christopher Ajer is still injured. I imagine we see a sort of similar lineup to that which started against Ipswich, with Norgard returning to the starting 11. But as I say, it's a final game of the game week, Monday night, so we're still sort of quite a long time away from that. I think we'll see prices shift, we'll see more markets emerge, and because of that, this sort of section is more just early ideas, potential angles, as opposed to locks. Firstly, I think the game will be quite high scoring, and the market does seem to sort of agree with that. Over 2.5 goals is priced at 1.66, but a sort of alternative angle to that is going for both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, which is priced at 1.9. Now, when you look into Brentford's last games, they've obviously seen both teams to score in each of their last 9 games, and both teams scored over 2.5 goals in 7 of those. So I do think both teams get on the score sheet here with how Brentford play. They're very attack-minded, but they are extremely poor defensively. They're very, very leaky, and that's something that Fulham will be looking to take advantage of. I don't see Fulham blanking at home, but I also don't see Brentford blanking because of how potent they are attacking wise. They just have players in great form, and even though this game finished 0-0 last season, I just don't envision that happening again with how Brentford have approached things. Speaking of a player in form, Brian Mbeumo has sort of unsurprisingly the highest shots per game for Brentford so far this season in the absence of Ivan Toney. He scored a brace last time out against Ipswich, so should again be full of confidence as that took him to 5 goals in his last 5 games in the Premier League. So he's been a player in incredible form for Brentford, really leading the line as a talisman in the absence of Ivan Toney. And one of the sort of more surprising prices I've seen so far is he is 1.8 for a shot on target, which really stands out given that it's landed in 7 out of 10 games this season. And the 3 failures were Liverpool at Anfield, Man City at the Etihad, and Man United at Old Trafford. So Fulham don't really sit in that category. 3 tough away fixtures. So 1.8 looks a really nice price. I think Unibet are unsurprisingly top price, but that's only at 1.83, so not a sort of significant discrepancy to take advantage of. And I think 365 are nicely priced at 1.8 here. I would imagine a fairer price would be closer to sort of 1.5, so would take advantage of that, and I would hope it doesn't shorten. Again, just a massive role up front for Brentford will be the target, potentially on set pieces as well, so really like his shot on target, so odds at 1.8. Another player to keep an eye on is Harrison Reed. He could be in line for his first league start of the season. with Pereira obviously picking up a knock. I would imagine the natural replacement is Harrison Reed. And looking into his foul data, he's actually got a stellar record. He's only started 2 games this season, one being against Birmingham in the EFL Cup, in which he made 3 fouls and was booked, and the other being against Preston, in which he made 0 fouls. But other than that, he sort of played for less than 10 minutes in every game per season off the bench. Against Newcastle, though, he featured for 23 minutes, which was his sort of most minutes of the season, and in that time he made 3 fouls and was booked. So he's a player who, in a similar way to Will Hughes, very aggressive in his press. He sort of puts himself about, very willing to duel, and because of that, he's a good target for fouls. Obviously, this sort of player stats is off his last 30 games. He's averaging 2.82 fouls per 90, which is a ridiculous total. Obviously, a lot of those are off the bench, but if he does get his first start, he'll be a bit rusty. Hasn't started in the last 4. And Brentford aren't really an ideal matchup for drawing fouls. But I just think his price at... he isn't priced yet. But if we can get him for sort of odds against or something like that, looks a really nice one, given how good his foul data is, really. And also Sander Berger is sort of less intense in his press, not a really adequate replacement for Sasha Lukic. So we'll sort of see. I would imagine Harrison Reed take up the sort of bigger burden for putting himself about, getting into tackles, and making fouls. So those are 3 early shouts for Fulham against Brentford. We've got both teams scoring over 2.5 at 1.9, and Bournemouth to have a shot on target at 1.8, and Harrison Reed to make 2 or more fouls, which is yet to be priced. So, again, this sort of game warrants a more in-depth thread whenever more markets are out, and that is one that I'm looking forward to posting. So, again, make sure you're following me on Twitter. That'll be a good one, I hope. But that is all the angles for the stream. Thank you all for tuning in live. Thank you all for your questions in the chat. Thank you very much for supporting. Remember to stay tuned on Twitter. I'll be posting full write-ups of pretty much all the games this weekend, and I'll have my staking plan in the Telegram channel. NBA bets today, smaller slate, but I would hope to get a few out. Once again, thank you for supporting, and I will see you all next Thursday. So take care and have a great day.